My name is Adeline Mercer, 28 years old, and if I had to define most of my 20s in one phrase, it would be this: almost enough. I was always the almost girlfriend, the almost choice, the one men leaned on when their lives fell apart, but never the one they chose to build a life with. For years, that person was Leo. Leo was magnetic. He had the kind of smile that drew people in, and the kind of recklessness that made them stay even when they knew better. And me? I was his anchor, his late-night phone call, his safety net when another whirlwind romance collapsed. I told myself it was temporary, that one day he would see me as more than the steady shadow standing behind his chaos. But I was wrong. That night, at our usual diner, the one where the waitress refilled his coffee before he even asked, Leo stirred his cup with restless fingers, avoiding my gaze. That's how I knew something was coming. "Adeline," he began, his voice softer than usual, almost careful. "You know you're my favorite person, right?" My stomach tightened, the prologue to a heartbreak I'd heard too many times. He exhaled, raking a hand through his dark hair. "But I don't think we're meant to be together. Romantically, I mean." There it was, the dagger wrapped in velvet. "You're my rock," he added quickly, rushing to fill the silence. "I don't want to lose that. Can we just stay friends?" The waitress slid past, topping up my cup. She didn't even look at me. Maybe she'd heard this script at a dozen other tables. The script where one person begged to keep the lifeline while the other quietly drowned. I nodded, my voice steady, though my chest burned. "If that's what you want." Relief broke across his face like sunrise. He leaned forward, reaching for my hand. "God, thank you for understanding. You're the best. I was so afraid you'd hate me." I let him hold my fingers for a moment. One last free favor. Then his phone buzzed. His attention snapped away like a magnet. A grin tugged at his lips as he tapped the screen. "Jason just texted me," he said, excitement rushing into his tone. "You remember Jason from the gym?" I did. The same Jason he'd complained about last month for being emotionally unavailable, though apparently that quality had suddenly become irresistible. "He's finally single," Leo said with a conspiratorial smile. "Wish me luck." I raised my cup in a mock toast. Luck. And just like that, he was gone. Typing already, forgetting me before the door even closed behind him. The silence left in his wake was heavy. The waitress dropped the check on the table without a word. My check, as always. I paid, left a tip, and walked out into the cool night. Something inside me shifted with each step. When I got home, I opened the Notes app on my phone and typed 2 simple lines. "Cancel Leo's spare key. Text Jesse about hiking this weekend." Jesse, Leo's best friend, the one who, at a party weeks ago, had leaned close and whispered in my ear, "You deserve better than him." For the first time, I believed it. I set my phone down on the nightstand, let the quiet envelop me, and finally allowed myself a smile. Funny thing about just friends. Sometimes they're the easiest ones to replace. It didn't take long for Leo to test my silence. The first attempt came at 2:43 a.m. on a Thursday. My phone buzzed across the nightstand, his name glowing like an emergency beacon. Against habit, I let it ring out. Seconds later, the voicemail notification popped up. "Adeline, I'm downtown at Pulse. Jason was supposed to drive me, but he bailed. My car just declined at the bar. Can you come get me, please?" I didn't even finish listening. I hit delete. For the first time in years, Leo's mess was not my responsibility. At dawn, when my coffee was already brewed, my phone lit again. A single text. "WTF, Adeline?" I typed back slowly, sipping my mug. Uber exists. The 3 dots appeared, disappeared, reappeared, then nothing. I could almost see him sulking in some all-night diner booth, Jason's leather jacket draped over his shoulders, fuming at the realization that his safety net had finally snapped. Later that afternoon, Jesse dropped by. He kicked his shoes off at the door, setting down a bag of takeout, and flopped onto my couch like he belonged there. "You look lighter," he said, eyeing me. Maybe because I'm not hauling someone else's drama around anymore. He grinned, propping his feet on my coffee table. "So you actually ignored him?" I deleted the voicemail. Jesse let out a low whistle, impressed. "The Adeline Mercer revolution has begun." His teasing made me laugh harder than I had in weeks. "Subscription canceled," I said, raising my glass of water in a mock toast. Jesse clinked his soda can against it. "About damn time." Leo lasted 11 days before breaking silence. "Hey, can you help me move this weekend? You're always so good at heavy lifting." The smiley face made my skin crawl, like he was still entitled to my weekends, my energy, my time. I typed my response one-handed while flipping pancakes. Busy, not lifting your shit. When I showed Jesse later, he nearly dropped his fork. Holy shit, he sputtered, choking back laughter. Who are you and what have you done with Adeline? I only smirked. Upgraded. Meanwhile, Leo paraded Jason all over social media. Brunch photos, gym selfies, captions dripping with irony. Hashtag soulmate. I muted him, but the cracks leaked through anyway. Whispers from friends. Jason was hard to pin down. Leo sounded defensive, tired. Then came the voicemail that made me pause mid-game. He ghosted me after I paid his studio deposit. $2,000, Adeline. $2,000. I don't know what to do. Please call me. His voice broke at the end, the desperation sharp enough to cut. For years, that sound would have gutted me. For years, I would have dropped everything, driven across town, fixed his mess. Instead, I screenshot it and sent it to Jesse with the caption, "Called it." Within seconds, Jesse replied with a string of laughing emojis, then, "Dinner on me tonight. You've earned it." And for the first time in my adult life, I realized I wasn't carrying someone else's crisis. I was free. The test came at Sarah's birthday. Music pulsed, people laughed, the smell of spilled beer hung in the air. I was leaning against a table, sipping my drink, when Leo found me. "You've been so distant," he slurred, eyes glassy. His fingers pinched my sleeve. "I miss us." I searched the room until my eyes found Jesse. He was across the way, joking with a group of friends, his smile easy, his laugh unforced. A man comfortable in his own skin. "We're still friends, Leo," I said quietly, pulling my arm free, exactly like you wanted. His gaze snapped toward Jesse, watching him laugh with another girl, his jaw clenched. "Why are you always with him now?" I could have said, "Because Jesse remembers my coffee order. Because he doesn't treat my time like it's on loan. Because when he touches me, it's not transactional." Instead, I only shrugged. "He's fun." Leo's drink trembled in his hand. "You're being weird." "Not weird," I said, stepping past him. "Just not yours anymore." Later that night, in the back of an Uber, Jesse fell asleep against my shoulder, his cologne mingling with the city air. I didn't move him. I just tilted my head, letting the weight of him rest against me. The next morning, I typed a message to Leo, short and deliberate. "FYI, Jesse left his hoodie here. I'll give it back when he stays over Friday." 3 dots blinked on screen. Vanished. Blinked again. Then nothing. Perfect. The night Leo finally confronted me, the air was thick with summer heat and music. We were on a rooftop bar downtown, fairy lights strung overhead, the skyline glowing like a postcard. Jesse and I were laughing about something ridiculous my coworker had done when Leo stormed over, a drink clutched in his hand. His smile was stretched too wide, his voice sharp. "So, what's the deal with you two? Best friends? Roommates? Or something else?" The music thudded around us, but I heard every edge in his words. Jesse glanced at me, letting me take the lead. I met Leo's eyes. Something else. For a heartbeat, silence. His face faltered, shock flickering like a crack in the mask. Then he let out a brittle laugh. "Wow, didn't waste any time, did you?" Jesse straightened, his hand brushing against mine beneath the table. Not possessive, just steady, grounding. Leo's gaze dropped to that touch like it burned him. From then on, the spiral began. He started showing up uninvited. The first time was past midnight. I'd just brushed my teeth when pounding rattled my apartment door. "Adeline, open up, it's me!" I peeked through the peephole. Leo, swaying, shirt untucked, eyes wild. I cracked the door but left the chain on. "What do you want?" "Jason ditched me." His words slurred. "I can't. I don't want to be alone tonight. Just let me crash." Before I could reply, Jesse's voice carried softly from down the hallway. "Babe, everything all right?" Leo froze. His eyes widened like I'd slapped him. "Is he here? You're serious?" "Yeah," I said flatly, "like I told you." He lunged, rattling the chain. "You're really sleeping with my best friend?" I leaned against the frame, calm. "Funny. I thought I was your best friend, right up until you needed a ride home from someone else's bed." His mouth opened, but I shut the door before the excuses spilled out. Behind me, Jesse appeared in sweatpants, rubbing his eyes. "Want me to deal with him?" I shook my head, wrapping my arms around Jesse's waist. "He'll figure it out." But deep down, I knew Leo never figured anything out. He only spiraled. A week later, at a backyard barbecue, Leo cornered me near the grill. His smile was venom. "How long until Jesse realizes he's just a rebound?" "You've always been second choice, Adeline. Always." The words were meant to sting, and once they would have. But not anymore. I looked him dead in the eye. "At least Jesse chose me. You never did. The silence that followed was louder than the crackle of the grill. He had no comeback. Then came the digital battlefield. Jesse posted a photo of us at brunch, my hand in his, sunlight spilling across the table. Within minutes, Leo commented, "Guess some people like sloppy seconds." I braced for Jesse's reaction, but he only smirked, screenshot the comment, and reposted it with a caption. "Some people only realize your value once you stop cleaning up their mess." By midnight, more of our friends had liked Jesse's post than anything Leo had ever shared. By morning, Leo had deleted his account. But the real test came at Kyle's wedding. Leo showed up alone. He hovered on the sidelines all night, eyes glued to Jesse and me, watching as we danced. Watching as Jesse spun me, dipped me, kissed me under strings of glowing lights. When Jesse fed me cake, Leo looked like he might break. Later, at the valet stand, he intercepted me. His suit wrinkled, eyes wet. He grabbed my wrist, whispering fiercely, "You were supposed to wait for me." Jesse gave me a look, then walked ahead to give us space. I turned to Leo, really seeing him. The smudged tie, the hollow eyes, the desperate grip. A man who had treated love like an afterthought until it was gone. "I did wait," I said softly, "but better things came along." I slid into the car where Jesse was waiting. And for once, I didn't look back. The more Jesse and I built something solid, the more Leo unraveled. At first, it was whispers. Friends told me he'd been bad-mouthing me, claiming Jesse was just a rebound, that I'd come crawling back once Jesse got bored. When whispers didn't sting enough, he went public. It started on social media. Jesse posted a photo of us at brunch, his arm around me, my head tucked against his shoulder. The caption was simple, "Sundays are better like this." Minutes later, Leo's comment appeared. "Enjoy it while it lasts." She always runs back to me. My stomach tightened, but Jesse only chuckled, shaking his head. He screenshot it, then reposted with his own caption. "Some men mistake being an emotional crutch for being irreplaceable." By the next morning, more of our friends had liked Jesse's post than anything Leo had ever shared. And Leo? He deactivated his account. But deleting a profile doesn't delete obsession. 2 weeks later, the pounding came at midnight. "Adeline, please, open up!" I opened the door just far enough for the chain to hold. Rain plastered Leo's hair to his forehead. His shirt clung to his chest, soaked through. His eyes were wild. "Jason took everything," he choked out. "He blocked me. He used me. I've got no one else." Behind me, Jesse looked up from the couch, a book still in his hands. "Everything okay, babe?" Leo's expression shattered. He gripped the chain like a lifeline, his voice breaking. "You're serious? Him? You're living with him now?" I stayed steady. 6 months next week. Leo staggered, his voice rising. "You can't just replace me like this. We had years. Years." I felt Jesse's warmth at my back, calm and grounding. I met Leo's desperate gaze. "You replaced yourself," I said quietly, "the night you told me I wasn't enough." His sob was raw, guttural. I shut the door. The chain clicked into place. Outside, the pounding faded into silence. 3 days later, we ran into him at a mutual friend's engagement party. He stood at the bar, pale, alone, nursing a glass of whiskey. His eyes tracked Jesse's every touch. Jesse brushing my hair back, Jesse kissing my temple, Jesse laughing with me like the world outside didn't exist. When Jesse dipped me on the dance floor, a smile lighting up his face, Leo's glass slipped from his hand and shattered. The bartender barely flinched, like this had happened before. I didn't go to help. The final confrontation came on a Tuesday night. The rain came hard, drumming against the street as I arrived home from work. There he was again, Leo, standing at my building's entrance, soaked, shaking, smaller than I'd ever seen him. "Adeline," his voice cracked. "Please, you can't erase me. You can't just throw away everything we had." His fingers clamped onto my arm, nails biting through fabric. I peeled them away one by one. "You did that when you told me we'd never be more than friends. Jesse didn't replace you, Leo. He showed me what respect feels like." The elevator dinged. Jesse stood inside, holding 2 mugs of cocoa, warmth spilling from the doorway. Leo saw him and made a sound, half sob, half growl. "You upgraded me to him?" Jesse's smile was calm, unshakable. "No, she upgraded her life." I stepped inside, the doors slid shut, sealing Leo out in the rain. That was the night I knew. Leo had lost. Not to me, not even to Jesse. He'd lost to himself. Leo didn't vanish completely. Ghosts never do. 2 days after that rainy night, my phone lit up with a call from a number I knew by heart. his mother's. I let it go to voicemail, but curiosity tugged at me later. Adeline, her voice trembled. Leo's not eating. He quit his job. I found an old hoodie of yours under his pillow. Please. He needs someone. He needs you. I deleted it before she finished. Because I finally understood. Leo didn't need me. He needed the version of me who carried his burdens and called it love. And that version no longer existed. Weeks passed. Then came the ambush. Whole Foods, of all places. I was reaching for cereal when Leo materialized in front of me, clutching a basket with nothing but a bruised banana inside. Adeline, he said, voice cracking like he'd rehearsed it 100 times. We need to talk. I kept walking. No, we don't. He chased after me, shoes squeaking against the tile. You owe me that much. I stopped so abruptly he nearly collided into me. I owe you? My laugh was sharp. Leo, I paid your bills when you quit your job to find yourself. I stayed up all night talking you down after Jason ghosted you. I waited for years, and you told me I wasn't enough. His grip on the basket tightened, his knuckles white. Then why did you stop waiting? The answer was simple, though he would never understand. Because Jesse remembered my birthday without Facebook reminders. Because he split the check without being asked. Because when he said I love you, it wasn't followed by a but. But Leo didn't deserve that truth. So I just grabbed a carton of oat milk and said, you taught me my worth. And I walked away. Time moved on. Jesse and I built a rhythm, cooking together, leaving clothes at each other's places until we stopped pretending they were separate, arguing over Netflix shows, laughing 5 minutes later. It was simple. It was steady. It was real. Then one afternoon an envelope arrived, embossed, heavy. Jesse opened it at the counter and smirked. Leo's getting married. Some finance guy named Chad. I barely glanced up from chopping vegetables. Cute. RSVP? He teased. No. He tossed it straight into the trash, grinning. Already did? That night, tangled in sheets that smelled like us, my phone buzzed one last time. A number I hadn't blocked, though I should have. I just wanted you to know. I'm happy. I showed Jesse. He rolled his eyes. Reply K, then let's order Thai. But I didn't even give Leo that. I deleted the thread, turned off my phone, and kissed the man who never once made me beg for scraps of